Rabbit with Mojo Marketing. And we also have...
I am Mike Oath, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of OnSIP Hosted VoIP.
Yes, and today we hopefully have our special guest joining us, Peter Radizeski from Rad Info, and he's an agent, he's a consultant, he's a marketing guy, he's a blogger, he's pretty famous within our industry.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so we're just hoping that he's able to join here in just a minute. But in the meantime, I mean, Mike, why don't you catch us up on some things that you've been doing? What's going on over at OnSIP?
No, we had a really super exciting week last week where we launched the OnSIP app. So it's a WebRTC based application, and we actually took two different apps and two existing apps and kind of smushed them together and made version 2 sort of both of them. So we took what was called My OnSIP and what was called InstaPhone, and we kind of took the best pieces of both of those and put them together in the OnSIP app. It's a web-based phone. You log in through any Chrome or Firefox browser, and you can make and receive phone calls. But you can also see all the people in your PBX, all the people in your company, and see their current phone status right there on the same page. And combine that with the Google Chrome extension for click-to-call, any phone number anywhere you can click, and that phone will activate, and you're making that call via that web-based phone. So very exciting, and you can still use desk phones and apps on iPhones and everything else you can always use. But it's we're very excited to have basically we're where a lot of people are launching WebRTC phones. We're launching version 2.0 of our WebRTC phone. So that was exciting. That was a good week's nice uptake on that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you had some good coverage on that in terms of just the industry or any how did you announce it, I guess I should say?
We actually announced at Channel Partners.
Okay.
And I put a post, I think, on LinkedIn where I was looking at some of the things for Channel Partners, and some people were announcing, "Hey, go with us and get $200," and we're announcing a brand new, and so that's kind of old school, where OnSIP is announcing, brand new state-of-the-art telecommunications applications. So I think my LinkedIn post was something along the lines of either move forward and stay with the time, or stick with what just doesn't work, but just kind of stay desperate and just throw money at people, or give them new and exciting features and let them run with it. And we're on that side. We like to stay cutting edge, give the people the features and the services and the products that they're looking for, and let them use them however they want. So
great.
Yeah.
Did you guys did you have like a beta test period and release it to a certain amount of?
Really, just internally.
Okay.
We knew from the two previous products what features customers were asking for, what features they liked. So it's just a matter of combining those features together in one app. Hey, there he is.
I see him.
Hey.
Can we hear you?
Yeah. I guess so, maybe.
Yep.
We can hear you. Yay.
Yay.
It only took like 5 tries.
Yeah. Three browsers, 2 microphones, almost another laptop.
Yay, you're here. Thanks for joining.
Sure.
Yeah.
Congrats on the launch there, Mike. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. We had a comment here about it. Add me to the list of people who would like IM functionality within the app.
Oh, yep. Yeah, that is that's coming, but that's that's what we want. So we switched. One of the things we did was we switched, and the previous app in the My OnSIP we had XMPP was kind of the underlying app for presence and IM and everything, and that all just kind of comes part and parcel. For the new one, we're doing it all via SIP, SIP and WebRTC. So we're having to rewrite all of all of that functionality that we had that just kind of comes with XMPP, we're having to rewrite it in SIP. So chat is definitely one of them. So great.
Great piece of feedback there. Awesome. Well, Peter, I gave you a little intro, but I don't know if you heard it because you were probably like trying to jump on. So why don't you give yourself a little intro? Tell us like who you are, what you do, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Peter Radizeski with Rad Info. I started as an agent in this business, and I still rep for over 50 companies. I do a lot of consulting for service providers, especially VoIP providers, helping them go to market and enhance their channel sales.
Yes. And he's also a blogger, and he speaks at all the different events, and he runs Ignite Tampa, which is a cool thing. I run Ignite San Diego, so like that's just like a fun side project we both do, which is cool.
You get to meet really cool people doing that.
Yeah. Have you heard of Ignite before, Mike?
No, not at all.
It's kind of like TED Talks, but the format is you get all the speakers only have 5 minutes exactly, and their slides rotate every 15 seconds.
Okay.
Automatically, and it's hyper local, so it's really about like what's going on in Tampa, or like different things, or what's going on in San Diego, and like so. Yeah, it's a really fun thing. Cool. Go ahead, Mike.
When we discussed guests, and Peter, and your name came up, Angela's like, "Oh, do you know Peter?" I'm like, "I can't even tell you how many panels I've been on," and Peter was the moderator. So yes, very well.
Over the years, it seemed like almost every show we were on the same panel.
It was every show. Yeah.
Yeah. What were the panels about?
Oh, geez.
Anything?
Yeah, just anything. Yeah. Peter will moderate anything. He knows it all.
Yeah.
True?
Anytime they'll give me a microphone, I'm pretty happy.
That's true. I don't even remember how I met you, Peter. Do you know? Do you remember?
No, but it's been 5 years. 4 years.
At least.
4 years.
Well, that's Facebook. That we've been we had our Facebook anniversary. You know how Facebook lets you know how long you've been. Yes, that's how long we've been Facebook friends. But I know I've known you for longer than that.
No, I went back. No, because we met at the Orlando Channel Partners event.
Okay.
And that's about 4 years ago.
Okay. Huh. Well, it seems like longer. Hopefully that's good.
Everything with me always seems longer.
All right, we're going to dive in. Peter sent us a couple of blog posts that he wrote recently, so I'm going to let's start with the channel strategy one, Peter. And so, we've read them here. I'm going to post them over into the chat so that those of you guys who are following along can take a look at them. But we just got back from the channel show, which was last week. Peter, you wrote these, I guess, either while at the show or shortly after. So they're kind of like your channel recap, right? In a way.
They are. It had to do with every single meeting I had. It seems that everybody's beating up agents, and it's all about the VAR and the MSP, and agents don't want to sell anything, and they certainly don't want to sell cloud. And I think it's because they really just don't understand what's going on, like on the street. I won't tell you who I had the big meeting with, but they were so condescending towards agents that it was like, I guess you don't understand the fact that, everything's $300 and they've got to sell like 2 a day to still eat. They don't have time to look up, learn another product, and then go sell it. And if that other product isn't as transactional, they're not going to sell it. And not for nothing, they also admitted they had deployment problems. So it's like, okay, they'll give you one shot at something, and then when you screw that up, they're kind of like, there's 2,000 other people that sell the same exact thing. I'll go sell their stuff. So that's kind of the stuff going on, I think, ground level. And I think that the people running the channel have zero clue what's going on down at ground level.
So in your view, most of the companies are trying to focus more on the MSPs and VARs and are kind of brushing off the traditional agents. Is that what you're saying?
It seems that way. For the last 3 years, all I've ever heard is everybody had a VAR strategy. As a matter of fact, a lot of the masters got into the VAR business, and some got out of the VAR business, and some are back in the VAR business. It's more like they just don't know who's going to sell what. and they have to keep betting left and right. I mean, good thing that show was in Vegas because they were dropping chips black and red and black and red and black and red. And you just don't know. And the thing is that it's not like because you're a VAR, because you're MSP, you're going to sell it better. It's more like who's got an alignment with what you're selling and who you're selling to. Right. And the big problem for a lot of these boneheads is they don't know who they're selling to. So it's like, we'll just keep throwing it until somebody buys our stuff. And, I pick on Vonage for this all the time. Your market is not 1 to 1,000. That's not a market. That's eight separate markets. Which means you're going to have 8 separate different kinds of partners because not everybody sells to every piece of that market.
Yeah. So, you talked about in the blog post where you say there is no silver bullet, but it seems that, are you seeing that companies are trying to hone in on that? Like, okay, we really got to put all of our eggs in the VAR basket or the MSP basket or whatever that is. And, how long do you think it'll take before companies kind of figure out that silver bullet doesn't exist?
Well, we've been hearing this. I've been hearing this since Tiffany Bova first stood up in Boston in 2008, that agents were going to die because they had a shift either being service providers or VARs. And she's now left the whole channel and gone to Salesforce. So I guess Verizon's going to pick up that drum because Janet was banging that at this show. So what? It's been 8 years and they've been wrong. So I guess they're going to keep trying for another 8. I don't know. The problem is they think there is like one bullet, but the problem really is a lot of these channels they don't do very good onboarding. They use a mirror as a qualification. Like if you can hold the pen and just shake your name onto the thing, you're an agent. And that doesn't work. I mean, Mike, it's not a matter of getting 450. It's a matter of getting 45 that are actually want to sell your stuff and your stuff exclusively. That's what makes a program.
Yep. I feel like maybe, Mike, how do you feel about bringing, should we have Michael pop up into this 4th seat maybe? He's really participating over here in the chat. Yeah. Would you be cool with that if he wants to? Peter, is that all right with you?
Oh, sure, because he's freaking out over there on the chat. So
I know.
You better give him a mic.
Oh, you don't have a video? You don't have video, Mike? Yeah. Well, maybe I think you can still join.
Yeah.
He's just doing such a good job of commenting. I hate to leave him out of the not camera ready.
Oh, like I am.
Let's see. All right.
And Mike saying that agents are in trouble. That I'd like to hear.
Yeah. Just liven this up a little bit here. Michael, are you there?
Agents.
Yep.
We can hear you.
All of them or just the bottom 95%?
The bottom 95%. I moderated a panel in Vegas about how to make your telecom business more sticky with cloud. There was probably 75 people in there, and most of those guys do not. They just don't understand. They want to understand. Right. They're scared. They understand the race to zero has been won and we all lost, but they don't know how to ask the right questions. And that's what I was trying to tell the people in the panel is you've got to make this paint by numbers, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to the onboarding kind of thing, right? So they don't really tell you who's buying it or why they're buying it or what questions to ask. They're like, here it is. Here's our price sheet. Please go sell it to someone.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much what it is. And like you mentioned a moment ago, Peter, I mean, how many times can I screw up before people don't trust me anymore?
Pretty much. I did a panel at IT Expo last January, and it was 4 PBX VPs, and they were all and one of the questions was, what's your target? So most of them were selling to 250 and up, and then they were complaining that they were all sold wrong. Agents sold them wrong. It's all the sales guy's fault, and that's why all deployments went sideways. And then I said, well, so if an agent brings you 150 seats, what do you do? And they go, oh, we take that. And I go, okay, so it's the sales guy's fault that he's not selling into your target, but you won't turn away revenue, so it's really your fault. And they were like, no. And I'm like, well, the problem is, like, you guys don't understand what shitty revenue is. Like, if you're going to be, I had a client who they took a 50-seat deal with a door buzzer, and they couldn't get the door buzzer to work. It cost them, I can't tell you how much money in tech support, and they lost the 50 seats that were working fine because of the door buzzer. It's like, you have to know when to say no. Like, I don't get it. You know, if you were selling I can give you one analogy really quick. If you were selling cars and they came up to you and they were handicapped, you wouldn't put them into a car that didn't allow them to drive it. But we do this all the time for our sales. It's like, oh, you can't drive that? That's all right. Give it a shot anyway. Just run on down that highway.
Yeah, it's you know, from a telecom from a provider perspective, we actually say that in our sales pitch. We're not, and our guys aren't on commissions, and I think that's part of it. That really helps us to keep that focus, because we say, look, we're not looking for any customers. We're looking for the right customers. And so when we're asking our qualification questions during the initial call, during the discovery call, that's what we're looking for. We're making sure that this is going to be a good fit for you, not just are you going to be able to pay the bill. So it's important, because it turns into a huge time suck. You can spend days, weeks on a door buzzer or some other odd little thing. They want to try to do paging, but they've got different types of phones. You know, whatever it is, there are 100 different little minefields that you can step in, and you have to be able to recognize them and know when to say, you know, this just isn't a good fit. I'm sorry.
I actually grew up in the farm, and it's a bit like walking through a cow pasture blindfolded.
Yep.
At midnight with no moon. You never know where you can hit the bomb, right? And the problem is, we go in there as consultants, as salespeople, and we stupidly take care of that cough, my friend. We stupidly believe what the suppliers tell us that they can pull off, and then, you know, we're into it literally up to our arms, and it can't do that. Well, what the hell? How do you tell? I had this morning, actually, an $11,000 hosted opportunity, where they're like, oh, well, we don't have this reporting. Well, isn't that the point of what you do? Is analytics? We don't sell on price. We sell on what is the business outcome. And the suppliers lie to us about what the business outcome is, so that's why we don't trust them.
Well, you got to remember, you know, TDM is entirely different, right? When you're selling a PRI, there was only 2 configurations and it was going to fit. You get a SIP trunk, it's 30 different translations of 30 separate RFCs, and everybody does it differently, and they may not interop with what they want. That's so new to carriers, the fact that there aren't standards wrapped around all this stuff. When you sold a T1, they knew it was going to fit in the wick and it was all going to work, boom.
Right.
This stuff, there's so many moving components. And not for nothing, there are so many jokers in this field that don't know anything about those components or how they all go together. I mean, I'm on voice ops. You ought to see some of the CTO questions about voice. It's like, how are you running a VoIP shop when you don't know shit about voice?
Yeah.
Well, the phone is 140 years old. It should freaking work.
It should if it's on a
pot
line.
A business outcome.
It will work on a TDM POTS line. It just won't work on anything else.
Right. But I mean, so I had a customer tell me one time, I can get anything I want on Amazon with one click 2 days later, except for phone service that works.
Well, actually, that's
and now
no, that's coming. Amazon just started selling Comcast and VoIP installation.
Wow.
It's all coming. Little robot, it's going to drop down. Little guy's going to jump out, plug shit in, and run back up and grab onto the drone, take off.
Oh my god!
Wow.
That can make a great meme. I'm going to write that down.
Drone VoIP.
Well, I wrote a blog, I think 2 years ago, about if it's not easier than an iPhone, I don't want it. And that's what customers expect. Yeah. They all have iPhones or Android, and they push a button and it just freaking works. Yeah. Well, if we're the professionals of this business and we're doing amazing stuff, why shouldn't it just freaking work?
Oh, the list of that goes on and on and on. I mean, for one thing, VoIP isn't just packets; it's also voice because it still connects to all of the old PSTN, and you need people to actually understand that. And most people, they either come from one side or the other side, and they don't really get together and fix all of that. And then they keep slapping stuff on. I mean, look at BroadSoft, who used to be an engineering company, and now instead of engineering, they're just buying all their little pieces and gluing them on. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's a Frankenstein nightmare.
It is. Then you look at somebody like Slack, who comes out of nowhere, and they're very carefully adding things the correct way. I mean, 2 million users in 2 years
that needs to be blown up.
Oh, it is.
We need to be shocked.
Oh, it's getting blown up. I mean, you watch from the fringes the way it's being taken away from both ends. The middle is not got much longer left, I don't think. And a lot of that's going to be decay. You watch the number of bankruptcies fourth quarter this year, early next year.
Interesting.
So is that your Big Short moment?
Well, look at the declining revenue and how fast it's sliding, right? For everybody, whether it's agents or the carriers. I watch it every quarter. It's negative. When you talk to the wholesale reps, their total billing revenue can be negative now.
Wow.
Because it's expected to be dropping. AT&T, every time we go to renew, you got to tell them it's going to be less. They still want to fight it, but they know that's the way it is. Like, you know, if they were paying for 10 megs, let's call it $700 3 years ago, now they want to be paying $600 for 20 meg because that's what the market bears. Some of that is because, you know, cable's doing $1,200, you know, gigs and woo. So what does that do to everybody? And you look at like Verizon, they have $127 billion in debt on $135 billion in revenue. How do you pay that back? You can only sell so much stuff. Like, you know, ARPU is flat across the board. Your triple play is, everybody's got it, right? And they're trying to dump it as fast as they can because they just want Hulu and a broadband connection.
Yep.
So how do they pay all that back? You know, Windstream.
Again, it sounds like the Big Short telecom edition. Seriously.
Well, it's not, but I mean, 70% of Windstream's revenue is broadband. 70%.
Wow.
How do you fix that when cable's kicking their ass in most markets?
Well, that's why we call them breaking wind instead of Windstream.
Well, there's that.
To their face.
So I know this is a hard question to answer, but like, what's the solution to this, right? Like, obviously there's a lot of problems within the channel and a lot of challenges, but let's say, you know, here you guys have Mike, who's built or building a channel program. So how do we fix some of these challenges from the carrier perspective? What's the solution?
More people thinking like Mike, saying that's bad revenue, we can't do it.
Yep.
A little more alignment, a little more onboarding, maybe smaller channels. Maybe you don't need 7 platinum partners. Maybe you just need 3. Because when you're chasing 7 platinum partners, you're chasing anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, it's funny because all the press releases were, we have 3,000 sub-agents. We have 1,700 sub-agents. We've got, I mean, those numbers are not, frankly, they're fucking ridiculous. They don't have that many people. They might have that many forms in a file cabinet somewhere, but those people are not selling shit. So it's like, but if that's what you're calling it, like, imagine how many channel managers you need to have to run through all of that and just robo-dial 1,500 people every quarter and say, will you sell my shit? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I couldn't even imagine that job. Like, you'd have to shoot me in the head.
Mike, what I would do if I was you, seriously,
Okay.
I would try to sort through the people. The first thing you want to do, raise your minimum MRC you're going to accept.
Yep.
That's going to get rid of a whole layer of crap. Okay. That's going to take care of all the people that actually forgot how to sell 20 years ago. Right?
Right.
Secondly, focus on things like business analytics, CRM integration. You know, everybody expects everything to work together, right? We're on a Blab beta, right? And took a little bit to get this going, even though I have iPhone and I got right in. Okay. I'm not Peter, so, you know, I don't have 14 different laptops to try. But in all seriousness, try to find the guys that are actually out there doing amazing things, and show them how you can do it better, so they don't have to do the picking up trash stuff, right?
Gotcha.
Like, we've been very successful with our vendors, meeting with them and working hand in hand on just adding managed firewall, managed security.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the guys that we work with don't want to deal with that.
Right.
So if we've got a good product, hey, no problem. And don't be afraid to turn down Billy T. One Slinger, right? Or Price Slinger, because it's not your market.
Right.
I remember I was watching last summer. I'll make a point right now, actually. Last Comic Standing. I don't know if you guys have seen this show, but the comic was talking about Whole Foods and how a bag of apples at Whole Foods is $16 for 5 pounds. And he said the judges are so rich, they don't even realize that's expensive. Right? And so that's who you want to be going after. Is people that aren't worried about a per seat price. People that are worried about a business outcome.
Yep.
Yeah, but not for nothing, Mike. In the hosted VoIP space, price is rarely ever the problem. Because if you wanted to sell cheap, there are people selling it for $4.99 a seat, and there are people selling it for $60 a seat. All of them are selling about the same amount. Like, no one's crushing it at $5 and no one's crushing it at $60. So it's not a price thing. It's a who gets in front of who and talks thing. Because you're selling change. I mean, if you're doing it right, you're selling change. And no one likes change. That's why Mary's like, oh, you're going to change it? No, I just want my key system emulated just like that. And don't change the fucking thing.
Don't change a thing.
Well, I disagree, Peter, because we all used to use outhouses. I don't hear anybody clamoring to go back to those days.
Are you sure?
Right?
Because I still see them.
It's how you sell change.
Mike, they're still there. It's not like everybody's giving them up.
Yeah, Peter. I have an economics degree. I rarely get to use it. I use more the tech side of things. But just recently, we were looking at price elasticity. We can't find it. We can't find the number. You're exactly right, Peter. It's kind of crazy. You would expect those supply and demand curves to meet somewhere, and they just don't seem to.
No.
Then raise your price. You'll find the number eventually.
Yeah.
But Mike, I mean, there's like two different people buying VoIP. There's people that want a cheap voice replacement, and there's people that want a communications platform. For the people with a communications platform, price is not the problem. And for people that want cheap voice, price is exactly the problem.
Right.
But then quality also becomes the problem, and churn becomes another problem, and the sales guy bangs his head on concrete.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, where's your market? I mean, obviously you're not cheap VoIP, right?
Right.
So then your market becomes very simple. You know what? One of the first questions we ask customers is, typically, we're going to cost more. Is that okay?
Right.
And if they're completely price focused, I just say, okay, thank you very much. Because the most powerful word in sales is next.
Yeah, that's something I've started to do right out of the gate too. I'll start a conversation with, we're not the cheapest, but we provided an excellent value. So yeah, good stuff. Well, it sounds like we solved the problem of the channel. Just raise your prices and say no more.
There you go. Perfect.
Right?
Just hand them all off to cable.
Yeah.
Point them to cable. We're good to go. Awesome. Well, I want to be sensitive to time here. I wanted to talk a little bit, Peter, about your channel manager's playbook. And I got mine autographed. I just want to show everybody by the author right there.
Look at that.
Right there.
If I see that, if it's on Amazon later for $50, I'm going to be mad.
Oh, I'm holding on to this for much longer. Its value is sure to increase over time. I'm positive. But talk to us a little bit. Like, how did this come about? Tell us about this.
So a year and a couple months ago, I guess it would be December of 2014, Burge asked me to write for Channel Vision. And Martin and I had a little conversation, and I figured I would just write about channel management. Really, in their entire book, there's really not that much about it. And if you look at the industry, there's no channel manager training at all. So every issue I wrote another one, and Martin put it underneath the playbook as the column name. And then in December, we decided to package it all into one book. And that's how we ended up with it at the show.
Nice. Very
What's
good.
Is there a key takeaway?
Everything we talked about earlier. You know, kind of like, you know, you could break it down. It's recruitment, it's onboarding, it's alignment. I mean, those are the big three. The other is like motivation and attention. How do you stay in front of them?
Right.
Because like, you know, I keep making the analogy. You go back to any of the master agents, they've got over 100 carriers.
Yeah.
And, you know, Microcorp has almost 30 that sell VoIP. So how do you decide? Wow. And when you go on to ask the carriers at like the shows, they can't even tell you like where their target is. That's the annoying thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they wonder why they end up in a quote war, right? It's because if you don't know where you fit, I don't know where you fit, so I'm just gonna ask for 8, pick 3, hand it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Have you had any feedback?
Sorry,
go ahead, Michael.
Go ahead. The most powerful thing you can do is have someone else say something nice about you. So at the next opportunity, get your best agents in front of a video camera and have them talk about why they sell OnSIP. What makes you different? That's the story people are going to listen to.
That's great.
And by the way, I bring a video crew to every channel show just to do that. I set up for an entire day, and because it's such, video can be expensive, but this way everybody kind of shares the costs of like the pro video crew and all that kind of stuff. So there's my shameless little plug. But I agree with what Michael's saying, that like testimonials and case studies are powerful, even more powerful in video, right? Just like this conversation, you know, even though Michael wouldn't join us on video, you know, you can see the power of connecting through video. So yeah,
believe me, it's not a pretty sight.
Oh, I believe you.
I look like something from Fraggle Rock right now. I'm not getting on video.
Oh man, I love Fraggle Rock. Peter, have you had any feedback so far on the book?
Yeah, I mean, some people had already read it earlier on PDF. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, it was pretty positive. Nothing outstanding. Nobody's like, "Wah!" But, you know, nobody spit on me either. So that's a bonus.
Yeah.
There you go. Got that going for you.
So if somebody...
I tried to sell mine at Rebecca at Bauman's Rare Books, but they offered me $50, so I can't do it.
Yeah, only 50. That's not going to work.
I was handing them out on the plane on the flight home. The last ones I had in my book. Here, you take one. You take one.
Oh man. So how can someone get a hold of it if they want to?
They can go to Channel Vision Magazine's website and they can download the PDF.
Okay. All right, great. Channel Vision. Or reach out to you, or is that the best way? Channel Vision.
That's the best way. Channel Vision Magazine. Okay. It's channelvisionmag.com. And there's like a big banner that says Channel Manager Playbook, and click there and then download the PDF. Okay.
Great.
Awesome. Mike, anything else you want to chat about while I have the gang all here?
No, it was very informative. I have a whole page full of notes here. It was great.
Yeah. Peter, any last comments, recap what we talked about today?
No, I'm glad that Mr. Bremmer could join us, though.
I know. That was a very nice surprise. Thank you, Michael.
I'm just honored to be invited. Thank you.
Well, of course, you joined in and you were participating so well. I mean, how could we leave you over there just chatting to yourself? You know, it's just not.
There you go.
I mumble to myself a lot. It's okay.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining today on the SM Blab. We hope you found this information super helpful. Join us again. We'll be on in another couple weeks, so keep your eye out on the OnSIP blog as well as our blog at Mojo. We post about these as well as we talk about small business tech challenges. Of course, more amazing acronyms like SIP and VoIP and WebRTC. So we hope you guys can join us in the next time around. I'm going to drop off, but you guys can continue Peter, I don't know if Mike told you, there's kind of like an after show.
After show.
So yeah, so you guys can like hang out and talk a little more, but I'm going to drop off. And so thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thanks, Angela.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
I'm waving, but you can't see me.
I see. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, what they need is like a little avatar. So you could put like a little, and you could have him wave and do different things. Right. So I don't know if we're still recording or not, but there are people still on. But I like to just thank our guest personally for coming on. So thank you.
No problem.
How was the show for you?
This particular one or the trade show?
The channel partner show. How was it?
Pretty profitable, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of good meetings, and it seems like a lot of them will turn into consulting gigs. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Great. Is it the type of thing where you've talked to these people on the phone and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do that, but it takes that face to face to actually close that deal?
Yeah. Amazingly, that even today it's still face to face.
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing.
I will say
video or whatever, but
no, it's face to face. Press flesh. You gotta have a meal.
Yeah.
Even now, though, Peter, you're going to see that get even more, I think, because people are looking for more genuine connection now than ever. We're more connected, but we feel more alone.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And so it's interesting. We won and I think I'm going to win a Cloudy for this, I hope. We did a really cool opportunity in San Diego. And long story short, they had got other bids, and we came back, and we were candidly right about the middle of the pack, right? And the point is, the reason they said they went with us is we were the only ones that came to their office and sat down with them for 2 hours and dug into every aspect of their business. Everybody else just emailed a quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice I just don't understand that, right? I mean, how hard is it to get in your car or get on a plane for a legitimate opportunity and shake somebody's hand?
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Someone else was writing about Facebook. It's you'll like someone's picture, but it's not somebody that, or their post or whatever, but it's not someone you would sit down and hang out with. So it's interesting. So Facebook friends, are they really friends? The people that you connect with in LinkedIn, are they actually people you would do business with? It's just it's kind of interesting. So you're more connected, but really more alone. So
it's funny because I call all of that, like, even for LinkedIn, if you do something dumb, I'll disconnect you because, well, I don't have a lot of feedback on the people that have like connected with me over the years. So when I see something really stupid or whatever, it's like, okay, well, I'll never do business with him after that. Yeah. And that's the only way to call it. I mean, it's the same way with Facebook. You don't say happy birthday to me, you're out. Like,
right.
How hard is that? They send you an email, it's in the middle of the thing. I mean, if you can't say happy birthday, can't write those 2 words, you're out. Like, call me self-centered, but
That's a good metric. I like that one. My problem is I just don't check Facebook often enough. I post pictures from my phone. I'll take pictures of the kids and post Facebook, but I rarely actually go on and check. So I'd miss all those birthday announcements. So I have to think about that.
They don't email them to you every day?
No, they don't. Is that an option?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
That's why you have a secret weapon that does all that. Makes it look like you're on social media 24/7.
Ooh, there you go.
There's my big secret. I have 2 secret weapons.
I have a if this then that rule for Twitter followers. So I thank everyone, all my Twitter followers by name with that rule, but haven't seen any automation for Facebook. But let's take a look.
Oh, so
Happy birthday automation beacon.
you use IFTTT, not Zap?
I do. I just, yeah. I logged in. I saw someone else tweet about it or something, and I logged in like, wow, this is super simple. I also have one for my daughter when I approach within a mile of her high school campus. It sends her a text that I'm there. And most of the time it's a warning. So, but like if she needed something, she needed a part of her basketball uniform. So she knew exactly when I had hit the campus without me having to text her, and she was already outside the gym waiting for me when I showed up, things like that. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's easy, and it's super easy. And I like programming and developing, but it doesn't require any of those types of skills to put those types of things together. So, but I haven't even heard of Zap.
It's Zapier.
Zapier.
Yeah.
Yep. I have. We were looking at doing some actually OnSIP API integrations into Zapier. Yeah. I don't know where we are with that, but I know we were looking at that at one point. It'd be kind of cool to have, as a phone call comes in, go and go set off this chain of events, type of thing.
That's where we're going. It's going to be cool to watch.
Yeah.
And see, that right there, Michael, is your key differentiator. Okay? That costs money. People will pay for that. So get one of your best agents, or better yet, a customer, on how you produce better metrics, because when a call comes in for X, we made it do this, this, and this.
Okay.
That's the story you need to tell. The people that run the world tell the stories, right?
Right.
That's why Hollywood's so freaking rich. Okay?
Right.
Why are politicians so rich? Because they tell the best stories and we all listen.
Yeah.
That's not why they're rich.
Tell your story.
They're rich because they do insider trading, and billionaires support them. That's why they're rich.
Well, if you're in Congress, insider trading is actually legal, but
it is legal. But that's, you asked how they got rich. Well, a lot of them go in broke and leave multimillionaires.
Yeah.
But let's not get on that track because I can go all day.
Right. My point is, Michael, that's interesting. A business owner. I saw a thing on LinkedIn the other day about the Congress of purchasing agents. And the slide, and I'm writing a blog around it, the slide said something about, instead of focusing on price, we need to focus on business outcomes.
Okay. Interesting.
And so the point is that what business outcomes, bless you, Peter, business outcomes can OnSIP create for a customer? That conversation will open doors.
Right.
It shocks me. Like, I have a checklist when I'm in front of a customer now, because the problem is I'm ADD and I forget, right? Plus I'm getting old. And if I ask these questions, it shocked me how much more incremental revenue I pick up, and also, more importantly, how much I differentiate myself from other people. I try to mug all my competitors in the hallway by asking better questions.
Interesting.
What metrics can OnSIP show a customer that they can do in their business? Things, what problems can you solve they don't even know they have? Right.
Yep.
And that's the problem. This goes back to what Peter was talking about earlier about how these suppliers can't tell their story.
Right.
Well, it's because they don't even know their own freaking story. They don't know the problem they solve.
Yeah. Interesting.
Do you guys know Ringio?
Sure.
So
they use OnSIP.
They do. They pivoted, right? Like, it used to be rich. What they're doing now is basically analytics. But if you think about the analytics of the calling, it's like when they first came out, the story was if you called a company the second time, it would ask, "Did you want to talk to that same person?" So you could skip the whole flow.
Right.
No one else does that, and I can't believe that that didn't get picked up. Right? Because no one wants to sit through the automated IVR.
Right.
So that was just, and with Zapier and TTFT and all the call analytics, you think you'd be able to get that done in no time.
Yeah.
Or even in reverse, like if they're in the queue why couldn't you just send them a text or an email while they're in the queue saying, hey, we saw you called, we'll get back to you in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't even have to deal with the phone call. You
Yeah.
can do it on your end.
And how impressive would it be if I'm a small business of 250 people and I do that? I'm going to look like a Fortune 100 company.
Yeah, true.
But the problem is, go ahead, Peter.
Well, it's funny is like on texting, there's a lot more AI for SMS than there is for what we'll call TDM calling. So the businesses that like do stuff like Business Texter and others, and Thomas Howe has a couple of businesses up in Massachusetts that do it. That AI is going to work great for SMS. We just haven't like brought that into the whole unified inbox yet.
Right.
Well, because it's the one thing Verizon nailed at the show was about how millennials are different.
Yep.
And we've all seen the stats about how people respond to a text within 10 seconds and an email, hopefully within 2 hours. Well, because that's the people that are, like, I've had to learn, because of the San Diego terrorist attack, I've had to learn all about business texting. Because I have clients, I live near San Bernardino. I have clients that were directly affected by the terrorist attack in San Bernardino.
Wow.
And so, but I mean, sadly, it's been fantastic for my business because it opened a completely new MMR I never would have thought of.
Well, so one of the comments here is, when is OnSIP extensions going to be SMS enabled? It's funny you should say that, because Frontier did SMS to landline like 2.5 years ago. Frontier, okay? We're talking like the least innovative ILEC on the planet. And they did it, and then Verizon released it like 6 months ago, and I've been banging on my consulting clients like, what if these two can do it, like, and you haven't done it yet? It's like, prehistoric.
Sprint did that years ago.
Yeah. But texting a company, I'm certainly open to help on this, but like texting a company, that text needs to go someplace, like into a Zendesk ticket or something, so that into some sort of queue. You can't have just like one person have the company cell phone, that text goes to. So when you text into that 250 seat small business, where does that text go? What queue does it go into so that it can be responded to within those 10 seconds, so that the company can look like, hey, yeah, we're here, we're responding. And similarly, so let's say we give a text to every extension. So you'd have to have a phone number. SMS is purely phone number based. So you'd have to have a phone number for every extension. And then where does that text go? Does it, I guess it could go into the OnSIP app. So when we have chats in the OnSIP app, I guess texts could show up there. But then how does that mesh with the larger corporate picture of corporate communications? I've thought about this a lot, and thanks for bringing it up. I just, in a corporate environment, I just don't know how to kind of wrap my head around all of that. Like, a call comes in and goes to a queue. You kind of want, and emails for Zendesk would come into, like, to support at acme.co would come into a queue. How does SMS work in this?
Well, I look at it like when I'm at the show and I'm trying to get hold of somebody and I'm texting them and I get that reply back from, oh, you cannot text a landline. And it's like, I didn't even know that was his landline. I thought it was his cell phone. So it's like, oh, so that's not going to work. Some of it also, It's like, what a conversation you'd have with a company, though, about where does the SMS want to go. Like, the conversation would then be like, what's your call flow look like? Like, who's going to handle all this? We could throw it into Zendesk if you want, or we could throw it into just like a hunting group, and it'll just fall into these 4 people are going to handle all your SMS.
Yeah.
But I mean,
You should have that conversation.
Yeah, but that conversation would be like so much better than, do you want Polycom with that?
Hey, we're $24.95 a user.
Exactly. You see where the conversation just went? It went to a business outcome. And Michael, I'm telling you right now, most people out there are not having these conversations. And this conversation is much more valuable than what you just said, the $4.95 for a SIP trunk.
Right.
Although there's going to be agents that want that $4.95 SIP trunk.
If that's not your market, then it's not your market, right?
Yeah.
Let them buy it from lowestprice.com and get screwed and have heartaches. And
can I get 12 points on that and I just throw you leads?
All right.
12 points. I like triple spiff.
Oh boy. All right. Well, cool. Anything else? We're coming up on an hour here.
I want to.
But I always like having little chats afterwards. There's always something that comes up.
I want to add one thing. So I was at Enterprise Connect the week before Channel Partners.
Okay.
At Enterprise Connect, same people actually that were at Channel Partners.
Okay.
With pretty much similar sized booths because 8x8 was the platinum sponsor at EC, so they were everywhere.
Yeah.
So the messaging at Enterprise Connect is around Slack and Spark and UC&C and all this like contact center, blah, blah, blah. You get to Channel Partners and there's none of that talk. None of it.
Huh.
It's lists of products. Every booth was like, we sell this, and this, this, and this, and this. And this is no messaging around any of it, just product lists. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. So you want to sell to enterprise and you message to enterprise, but when you get here, you don't know how to message to enterprise or you don't want to do that. Or it was such a disconnect for me that I was like, I was just shaking my head because I'm like,
that's interesting.
I think they all missed it by about that much.
Yeah.
No, they all assume that telecom agents are stupid and unable to pivot. The only thing you should ever buy off a menu is lunch.
You know, they might think the agents are stupid, and you know, after conversations, and that might be possible. But I mean, the thing of it is if that's your messaging that it's all product, then you're not going to be able to sell because we're not selling products anymore. We're in the solution business.
Right.
No one ever calls me and says, I need a SIP trunk. They call me and say, my copper is going away. What am I going to do?
Right.
They never say, I need UC. I've never had anyone ever call me and say, I want UC, ever.
No. Nope.
Well, but again, that takes a business shift, and that takes focusing on people that have a little more sophistication and don't care about, that care about actual outcomes. And again, what my biggest advice to you, Michael, is how do you create paint by numbers marketing? Because there's a lot of agents out there that aren't stupid, that can sell, but they need somebody to take them by the hand and understand, how do I sell this? Because they're using the technology.
Right.
So create your marketing around how do you open these conversations with customers. That's the number one question that we had on the panel that I was on, was how do you open these cloud panels? How do you open these cloud conversations?
Well, it's actually kind of easy, and there's a whole checklist in my book on Celicom 2, how to sell cloud. In the back, there's a whole list of questions you ask, but I don't think I can make it any easier than that.
Right, but my point is, Peter, as I look intently into the phone where you can't see me because I have video blocked, my point is none of the suppliers get that, right?
Yeah.
They're so stuck in the past of how they used to do business that the new world, I actually agree with you. We're going to see a lot of bankruptcies because of the fact the new world is different. People expect the Twitter response. They have the memory of Dory, right? And so how do we create those business outcomes? Well, one, you put people in a position that they can do it. And the things that you do, Peter, how you evangelize, how do things are extremely helpful. So everybody just needs to hire Peter.
There you go.
But Mike, let me ask you, you're on a lot of webinars, right? So aren't the webinars mainly product focused? Do they ever talk about the buyer persona or the outcome of that, or here's how you start that conversation? If I was ever on a webinar where they said that, I would probably have a heart attack and fall off my chair.
It's rare, candidly, right? But the smart ones do.
Well, can you name one? Can you name one?
Polaris is actually pretty good at that, candidly. And most of the other supplier actual ones, no, they're pretty craptacular, candidly. That's I go back to tell your story, tell how you did it, and and what the outcome was. The problem is they've got it all backwards. Again, like you said, they want to give a menu instead of, hey, this is the problem we solved and how we did it.
Yeah. So you can't see my screen here, but a document I constantly have open is our list of buyer personas. We have 7, and they all have cute little names. But yeah, so when I'm talking to someone, I'm okay. You're the IT manager, Isra. So let's look to see. Okay, you're more concerned about reliability and ease of setup than you are price and other things. So that's our buyer persona is our Bible. No, it's interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. And
thank you for including me, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Sorry I wasn't camera ready because I wasn't expecting to be on camera.
No worries. Thanks for joining. Great. And for everyone else here, thanks for sticking with us, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All righty.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.